Hey everybody, today's video is all about this buffalo plaid tumbler. And I just want to point out that this red and black and gold were just absolutely perfect for this tumbler. They're all from Glitzy Creations, and I will put everything in the description box below if you want to recreate this yourself. If you are new here, my name is Allison, and here on this channel, I post weekly tutorials on tumblers and keychains, epoxy free, and every Thursday I go live. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you do not miss any new notifications. I did use a template for this design. You can totally use tape or whatever method you want, double-sided tape or just painter's tape, to make a plaid and then follow, the idea of this tumbler as well. But I really liked using a template because it just gives such evenly spaced lines, and as a math teacher, just makes me really happy. I created the template myself. There are plenty of places to purchase it online. I do have two different files on my website. If you're interested, I will link them down below. One is for the Maker Flow Tapered Skinny 20 ounce, and the other one is just a rectangle that you can size for whatever tumbler you want, or if you have the conical warp feature in Silhouette Studio or Photoshop, you can do it. You can taper it yourself for whatever tumbler that you have. Before we get started, I want to remind you that the first step is to always base coat your sand prep your tumbler and put on your base coat. I chose to use a red base coat for this tumbler, but I need to know in the comments, please let me know, do you think that plaid, this buffalo plaid, is in season all the time, or if this is like a seasonal holiday cup? Let me know in the comments. I want to know what your opinion is. Let's get started. So you're going to start by downloading your template, cutting it with your cutting machine. I used removable vinyl. I'm placing my transfer sheet over the top of the entire thing. And then I'm just going to use my squeegee to get it nice and stuck. You'll see that I have initialed or put the R and the B for red and black on the template already. So I already have the outline created, so I don't have to think about it later. Then trim your transfer tape, and if you have any vinyl, you want to make sure that you're trimmed only around the actual template that's going to go on your tumbler. I chose just to use the StarCraft removable, but I do think I like Oracle 650 or 631 better. But get it all lined up on your cup where you want it to be, and then I just use a little bit of tape to hold it into place. This is temporary, but sometimes it likes to be stubborn. You'll see me struggle here in a minute, but I just tape it in place for temporary holding, and then I'm going to peel back some of the backing. So just about an inch or so. You don't need much. See, I had to fiddle with the tape a little bit, but it's very temporary. Then cut the backing, and you're going to stick that end to your tumbler. From there, you can remove the tape, and then you can start applying it to the tumbler. So you're just going to peel the backing back and use your squeegee tool if you need to get it stuck, and do the best that you can. It's like totally okay if it's not 100% perfect. Just do the best that you can. And once you get that all burnished in, you can peel back your transfer tape. You may need to just be a little careful in some spots to make sure that your vinyl stays put. You'll see that I did an R and a B for red and black, and then the ones I did not label is my third combo glitter. I just didn't feel the need to label them all since I knew what would go there. So once you get your transfer tape all peeled away, you're ready to add your first glitter. You want to start with the darkest glitter you have. So in my case, for a buffalo plaid, that would be black. But if you're doing a different color combination, start with the darkest color first, because you don't want your darker color to contaminate your other colors later. So I did remove all of the squares where my black glitter would go. I decided to use black gloss to adhere my black glitter. And I'm really happy I did that because it helped me get full coverage on that first go. You could also try tinting your glitter glue as well, but I just went with the black gloss, and just do a couple squares at a time. I did have to be a little careful around the bottom just to make sure I got everything covered. You can always do a second coat if you need to, but of course I always try to avoid that whenever possible. So just sprinkle on your glitter and tap it down with your finger to get it nice and flat. And then move through the rest of the cup. Again, just using a couple squares at a time because you don't want your adhesive, whatever you're using, to dry too quickly. I do like using a foam brush for this particular cup, both for this application and later I will show you. So again, just add your glitter around the whole cup, and I did let this dry completely before I moved on to the next color. So for this, since I used the black gloss, is 4 hours. The next step is to apply your combo glitter, which is a mix of red and black, about 50-50. Take a brush and clean off your cup so you don't have any excess black glitter lying around. And then remove all of the squares that will be designated for your combo. And there's no exact science to how much of each color you should mix together. Just do it however you like it. I would say I did about 50-50. And it being on a red base will help the red pop even just a little bit more. So I use a foam brush to apply just straight glitter glue. I put glitter glue in a little container, and now I've switched to applying my glitter with the glitter glue. I like this 1-inch foam brush because I can really get into all of the corners and seams without having any issues. So I do recommend this, and just take your time because you don't want to get any glitter glue like on top of the black because you don't want your glitter there. So just take your time and finish the whole cup with your mixed glitter, tapping it down with your finger to make sure it's nice and flat. And you may have to refill your cup several times. It doesn't take a lot of glitter, but sometimes you pour a lot more than you need. So I did let that dry for 2 hours, and then I came back in to do the last glitter, which for me is red. So I went from darkest to lightest. And again, the exact same thing, use the foam brush to apply my glitter glue, tap the glitter down with my finger, and then go through the whole cup until it is fully glittered. Now, I have to switch cups here because I totally didn't get it on film, but I always use this spray bottle to spray on my glitter glue whenever I have multiple colors. So I did that on my plaid cup. I just don't have it on film. I mix 2 parts glue to 1 part water, spray it on, and let it spin dry for 2 hours. I rolled it in parchment paper and then to flatten it, and then I'm going to seal it again. And then the second time, since I know the glitter's already sealed, I'm just taking straight glitter glue and a damp brush and brushing it all over the cup. So I seal 2 times, 1 spray, 1 brush. And because I have multiple colors that I don't want contaminating each other, I start with the spray. And then just make sure your glitter glue is nice and flat and let dry on your spinner for 2 hours. After that 2 hours, you're totally ready. You can flatten it one more time with parchment paper. But then you're ready for your bright tone layers. So here's my first coat of bright tone after my glitter glue. Remember, it's normal for it to look dull and gross. Let your coat dry for 4 hours and then go in with another. So you're going to do about 4 or so coats of bright tone, letting each coat dry for 4 hours. Once you finish those 4 coats, you can sand with 400 grit sandpaper. Remember, it's best to sand in the morning, so do your 4 coats in one day and then sand the following morning to get a smoother surface. I decided to add on my chunky glitter after that first sand. So I brushed on my bright tone, and again, there's no exact rule as to when you should add your chunky glitter. I just decided to do it after that first sand. You could probably add it sooner, but I think after that first sand is a good time. So brush on your bright tone, and then I'm going to sprinkle on my glitter. Again, this is called Champagne Toast, and I highly, highly, highly recommend. Now, I wanted full coverage on the bottom, so I did that, and then I started tilting my cup so it could fade down about a third of the way. And then I took a little bit with my fingers to sprinkle a little bit more, just so I have a little bit more control. I tapped down all of the chunky to get it as flat as possible, and I did this right away. And then I put this on my cup turner, my spinner, to dry for 4 hours. I then did decide to seal this with glitter glue. So I just squirted it on. I don't have that part on video. I'm so sorry. And then I just brushed only on the bottom to seal that glitter in place so it doesn't get to the top of the cup. I really wanted it to stay put. So let that dry for 2 hours and you can continue coats of Bright Tone. After like 4 or so coats of Bright Tone, you can sand just along the bottom just to help even it out a little bit faster. And then you can continue with your layers of Bright Tone. Do however many coats you need, sanding every 4 coats. Remember, each coat needs 4 hours to dry. Remember, there's no set rule as to how many coats you need. You just need to keep going, sanding every 4 coats until you get to that beautiful, shiny, glass-like finish. Again, just keep coating every 4 hours, giving it a good sand with your 400 grit sandpaper every 4 coats. I'm going to pull up the next video for you to watch and let me know in the comments if you have any questions.